Hey ladies and gents, welcome to my review of eFootball 2023. I've had plenty of time playing online and offline, and I feel like I'm in a position to share my views with you. eFootball 2023 was one of the lowest key launches I've ever seen. Literally no marketing or hype from Konami in the build-up. You'd be forgiven for thinking there was an even new version out. I've actually even seen comments on the channel confused saying, wait, there's like eFootball 2023 now? I'm like, yeah, there is. So what's new content wise in eFootball 2023? There's 18 stadiums, although that does include the Konami Stadium and two identical stadiums, which is the San Siro and Giuseppe Meazza for AC and Inter Milan, and obviously the Stadio Olimpico for Roma and Lazio. Two of these stadiums are actually bugged, one where a certain camera angle and you'll find that your view is blocked by the stadium. Another has a serious drop in frames on the PlayStation 5. There are now 26 playable teams, which are, previously we had just the 9 teams with the latest kits and updated rosters, but don't expect Casemiro at Manchester United just yet. They're probably waiting for a face scan, but Martinez is in, so you can drop the fridge, and new manager Erik ten Hag has been added, the latter of which can now be signed in Dream Team because he's in the manager list. There is a new pre-match cutscenes for the new and returning stadiums. You can also now have the ability to play against the AI with AI controlled players, effectively coach mode from previous versions of PES. So the AI can determine your fate and you can now act as a manager instead of actually being the player. Useful for those times when you're maybe working away and you have the share play feature on your phone, and you can now sim matches to earn GP and coins. Yes, you can even earn coins through events, which is a nice touch and definitely a move in the right direction for Konami, but just don't expect too many of them. There are now Inter and AC Milan player packs and also new manager packs, which features Johan Cruyff and Fabio Cannavaro, which can be bought using coins which offer 400% experience points to defenders if you have Cannavaro, or midfielders if you select Johan Cruyff. Legendary players such as Scholes, Alba and Inamoto can now be bought using eFootball points. But I wonder if this is going to rub up fans the wrong way, because I know there's players out there that spent £150 just to try and sign some of these certain legendary players. Let me know if this has happened to you and how you feel in the comments about these players now being able to be picked up through basically effectively free coins or free points. Now, for the part you've probably been waiting for, the gameplay. How does the game fare? Well, I've played the game online and offline substantially, as I mentioned before, and I have mixed feelings. On one hand, they've made a number of improvements and fixed a number of bugs from the last version, but they've also taken out the main focus from what the game was originally all about. Physicality for defending players has received a buff. Players in possession of the ball, no matter how strong they are, can be dispossessed easily, which means moving the ball quickly is vital if you want to retain possession. This can sometimes create an illusion that the game looks faster. It's just that you're forced to move the ball quicker around the pitch. During my live stream, I complained about that the first touch was broken, but after a closer analysis, it seems that players will take a heavier touch if you turn more than 90 degrees when receiving the ball, which in a way should be fine, but sometimes in a congested penalty area, you don't know which player is going to be selected to actually intercept or make a tackle, so you could aim the left stick in the wrong direction and give away a cheap goal because your player takes that extra time to get the ball under control. The passing in eFootball 2023 feels better than ever before. I feel like the responsiveness and accuracy in terms of the ball going to the player you want has been much improved. Players now pass the ball much more effectively and efficiently after the pass button has been pressed, and I've tested this on level 2 and level 3 assists. However, pass error appears to be slightly higher with misplaced passes taking place, even with those who have 90 plus passing stats with their strong foot. The shooting responsiveness is one of the biggest improvements. There was a bug where attacking players wouldn't strike the ball first time if the shoot button was pressed, if the ball was over halfway between the passer and receiver. This is a much welcome boost and definitely improves the responsiveness and feel in and around the box when shooting. The defensive matchup button has been improved in my opinion, making it more skill based. This is primarily for intercepting loose passes near your player. If held or pressed at the wrong time, expect players to lunge in the wrong direction even if the ball is nowhere near them. The ball didn't squirm under any of my players' feet at all when testing. The ball will usually ping off in a randomized direction now if too much power is applied to your opponent's pass. However, it does make me wonder if the interception and blocker player skills are important anymore, as there seemed to be little difference when testing with players with and without those skills. Another thing that seems to be fixed is the team press. Previously, players not highlighted with the secondary player indicator would also press instead of the player intended. This was an annoying bug with the previous build, and I'm glad it's been fixed in eFootball 2023. However, what isn't fixed is where nearby players freeze during any deflection, and that's still in the game and it's still a huge bug yet to be rectified, making player response times feel absolutely awful. Konami, please sort this out and fix it as soon as possible, because it's just awful to watch and awful to see, as you're seeing in this example. When it comes to replays of your goals in eFootball 2023, you're still going to expect those frame drops even on the PlayStation 5, and you're going to notice they dip below 30 frames per second. The biggest flaw for me is that dribbling now is almost non-existent. Turning on the ball takes much longer, and with the defenders receiving a buff in terms of physicality and movement, as soon as they get to touch you, you're going to lose the ball. This is a huge disappointment in my view, and forces players just to pass, and then pass some more for winning matches. Even players maxed out like a standard Neymar turn so slowly, and I find only the absolute top legendary cards are effective at dribbling. The likes of Maradona, but even then, the slightest touch from a defender and he's going to end up losing the ball. The ball physics remain largely unchanged from what I can tell, and right stick player selection appears a little bit off. There have been some instances where I've really struggled to select a player I want, furiously flicking the right analog stick in that direction of that player. Weak foot accuracy is still far too accurate when shooting in my opinion, often placing the ball perfectly into the corner of the net more often than they miss, even with medium or low weak foot accuracy. Sprinting without the ball feels slightly better. It feels like the defending players are more maneuverable, like I mentioned before, making defending one-on-ones even easier than before. So it probably sounds and feels like there's a lot more positives than negatives, but the fact that eFootball was focused about one-on-one duels, it even has the one-on-one dual camera, it appears that the defending players have received a huge boost with this latest update, while defensive players will find it difficult to turn and maneuver around, the defenders in this game, especially when you come up against the legendary cards. And what this results in is abandoning any form of dribbling and just passing the ball around, which is fine, but it would be nice if there were other alternatives to score. For me, dribbling was a key part of my enjoyment in eFootball, and that's been largely taken away now that any half decent player should be able to cope against even the best dribblers in the game. There's a lot of players who probably don't dribble and enjoy passing the ball around, and hate facing players who are good at dribbling and are going to enjoy this update. However, for me personally, this is a huge negative, and for the gameplay, I'd struggle to score it above a 3 out of 10. To put that in comparison, version 1, which was my favourite edition of the game, I gave that a 6 out of 10, and the version prior to this, I scored a 4. I really think this is going to favour meta defensive formations with quick counters, and in less being about possession and out wide playstyles. That's not to say you can't win, as I won the majority of my matches using possession based playstyle, but felt like I had to slog it out in some games. If you watch the stream, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Like I said, it has fixed many of the bugs, improved the overall responsiveness of the game, but taking away that key focus of what made eFootball was all about has left a sour taste in my mouth. Sadly, it looks like we have to wait a little bit longer before we have a decent football game. I'm not holding out too much hope for FIFA 23 either, which arrives on September the 27th, which I will be streaming live from the get-go, so please be sure to join me for that. eFootball 2023 hasn't given me the lift I was expecting, and it's a game I'll log in for the rewards, but I'm going to really struggle to find any enjoyment playing this game. But before I go, I want you guys to let me know your thoughts on eFootball 2023. Are you enjoying it? Is it better? Is it worse? What do you like about it? What do you dislike about it? Are you finding problems with dribbling? Are you maybe you're not a dribbler, and do you prefer the actual defending against those players who dribble against you? Anyway, that is pretty much it for me, ladies and gents. Thanks for watching. I look forward to seeing you guys next time. Take care and goodbye.